In 2019, I started off my law degree as an overweight 17-year-old with probably the worst diet imaginable. As I progressed throughout my law degree, I stuck to a consistent diet and training routine, and that allowed me to transform not only my physique, but my overall performance at university and ultimately help land my dream job working in a corporate law firm. And the truth is, most law students, graduates, and even lawyers themselves are leaving so much potential on the table simply by neglecting their health. So in this video today, I'm going to break down exactly the diet, training, and non-negotiables that you should be doing within the legal industry as a law student or a law graduate to fully maximize your performance long term. Now, first of all, I want to get into why lawyers neglect their health and why this is such a huge mistake. To be honest, this is actually quite simple. Lawyers and law students put their career and their studies first, and then they put their health second, third, or don't even prioritize their health at all. We end up spending hours and hours on study, and if you're in the legal profession, you might be spending late nights in the office, and for the convenience sake, you'll get Monster energy drinks for extra caffeine boost, and because you don't have time to meal prep or make healthy food options, you'll end up ordering Uber Eats, and 9 times out of 10, the Uber Eats that you usually order will have a lot of processed foods and a lot of seed oils and canola oils, which in the long term is absolutely detrimental to your health. By fueling up on foods like Uber Eats and processed foods, you're neglecting your ability to focus for longer periods of time, short attention spans, and an inability to focus. It could even go worse by anxiety issues, mental health issues, simply by the food choices and the health choices that you're making. And especially within an industry like law where it's super competitive, it could really lead you down to a downward spiral. The truth is, our law degrees and the legal profession itself requires sustainable performance. And among performing sustainably, your diet and fitness are core multipliers, and ultimately it will give you the career advantage. Now let's get into why this matters in law. An average diet with inconsistent or little to no training will just lead to average output. Remember, you should not be separating health and fitness from your career. It should be part of your career to add sustainable growth. The more sharper and the more resilient you are based on your food choices and your training habits, the faster you'll be able to grow. Also, your reputation is massively important, and by walking in a room with lawyers where you've got a really good physique, your skin looks nice and clear, it already shows to the lawyers and much more intellectual people that you have habits such as discipline and consistency, and you already from first impressions are already setting the bar very high. And when you go into the legal industry and you work with clients, when you walk into a meeting with clients, by simply having a fit body, looking after your body, looking after yourself, and having that confidence about you will ultimately help you land better deals, make money for your firm, and ultimately you'll be able to progress long term because of your reputation, and that starts by your appearance. And from my experience as well, a lot of my friends who are law students and now graduates, and even some in the legal profession themselves, the ones who have taken care of their health and made the right choices, actually have the most enjoyable lives out of everyone that I know. Before I get into the non-negotiables that every law graduate and law student needs, I'd just like to say that I do run my own online community where I personally help law students connect with each other and personally help them in things like diet and fitness. I will personally help structure together a training program based on your current work, whether or not you're full-time or part-time, your university studies, and I will help make a consistent, structured routine that you'll be able to stick to long-term and fully get the benefits out of. It'll only cost you $19.99 a month, and you can find that within the top link of the description. Now, the first non-negotiable that every law student and graduate needs is 8 hours of sleep. Now, for me personally, over the last couple of years, I have completely transformed my sleep, and that has helped me to not only transform my body, but also allow me to focus for longer periods of time. Sleep is probably the forefront of our recovery, being able to wake up fresh, going to bed at the same time, preferably going to bed early and waking up at the same time each and every day. If you're someone that studies late at night, say 1 o'clock, even 2 o'clock, and then you wake up at 7 or 8 o'clock, you're just not getting enough sleep, and you're just not going to be able to be productive and be able to focus for longer periods throughout the day. It will completely stunt your performance, not only at the gym and your training, but also your studies, your exams, your assignments. You will see a massive drop in your performance long term. So if you're someone who doesn't have the most structured sleep program, I would suggest trying to go to bed a little bit earlier and get used to trying to sleep at that same time and waking up at that same time, preferably getting 8 hours of sleep. For me personally, I can really notice that even when I get around 7 hours of sleep, and sometimes even less than 7 hours of sleep, I'm not able to properly function the next day compared to when I get 8 hours of sleep. I'm a completely different person. So your first actionable step is to fix your sleep times and aim to wake up and sleep at the same time. Now, the next non-negotiable for law students and graduates is your morning routine. When you wake up first thing in the morning, you should not be checking your phone at all. Instead, what you should be doing is either journaling, reading a book, getting some daily sunlight. What I preferably do is I wake up, I have a bottle of water next to me where I put electrolytes in, so I make sure I hydrate myself first thing in the morning. I go out for a walk, get some morning sunlight in, and that really starts my day on a high. It sets your brain up for constant workflow as well when you wake up in the morning and you're ready to start the day and conquer your task. And these are just small little habits that you can do to get quick wins in the morning and really set yourself up for the rest of the day. Again, talking about water next to me, another non-negotiable that you should be doing is to be having 3 to 4 liters of water. So what I do, I invest in a nice bottle. Don't get plastic water bottles, and don't fill up your water with tap water. Preferably use filtered water in a big metal water bottle so your water stays cool throughout the day. Have it next to you while you're studying or you're working, and keep sipping on it, and as water empties, then you go fill it up again. Just having a water bottle next to you does absolute wonders, and you'll be able to easily hit 3 to 4 liters of water a day. Now, what personally works for me as a law graduate is I will do an hour of deep focus work depending on what my tasks are, and after that hour, I'll just go for a 15-20 minute walk just around the block, get some fresh air, and also get some steps in. I usually do that about 2 to 3 times a day, and then either in the morning first thing, I'll go for a half an hour, 45-minute walk, or in the evening after my dinner, when I finish eating, I like to digest my food quicker, so I'll go for a walk for another 30 to 45 minutes. So an actionable step I can suggest is when you do an hour and a half of deep work as study or work, just get up, get some fresh air, go outside, get 15-20 minutes of steps in, do that about 2 to 3 times a day, and then after your meals, go for another walk, and trust me, you'll be able to hit 10,000 steps so easily. So if you can stick to 8 hours of sleep, get a 30-minute morning routine in either journaling, reading, meditating, or going for a walk in morning sunlight, and you're getting 10,000 steps a day, whether or not you're a beginner or someone who already has a decent fitness routine or diet, but they're not really sticking to, depending on where your level is at with fitness, if you can stick to those 3, you will change your life and you will see so much better output in your performance, both fitness-wise and your grades and your assignments and the quality of your work. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the diet. Now, like I said at the start, law students and law graduates eat for convenience because we put into our mind that, oh, we don't have time to cook our foods, or I'm currently studying at the moment and I don't want to ruin the momentum, so I might just quickly go to the vending machine and get a protein bar or a Monster energy drink, or I don't have time to cook my dinner, so I'm just going to go and order Uber Eats. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do. And by making those choices, by the Uber Eats, the excess caffeine, the processed foods, the seed oils, the junk food that you're putting into your body, at first you might think, yeah, it's convenient, I don't have to make my meals, or I can quickly go and get that food. But in the long term, you're just neglecting your health. And like I said at the start of the video, you're leaving massive potential on the table. And remember, your health should accompany your career goals. And by doing so, you should invest in a whole foods diet, being able to eat clean, unprocessed foods that will ultimately make you more sharper, remove the brain fog, and allow you to perform at your very best. So fuel foods for focus should be natural sources of protein like red meat, chicken, eggs. In terms of carbohydrates, I'd stick to fruits, some vegetables, basmati rice. And in terms of your dairy, stick to things like natural organic cheese and natural organic milk. That way, by having a structured diet, it actually reduces decision fatigue. Now, when I mean decision fatigue, you might be in a position where you don't really know what you want to eat and you're spending much more time trying to figure out what you want to eat instead of someone who's already planned out exactly what meals they're going to eat, how they're structured their diet, and all they have to do is just follow their plan. That way they're not wasting their time and they can focus on the things that really matters, like their studies or their work. Now, if you want to go more into specifically the types of meals and the types of foods that you should be eating, again, you can join our online community for just $19.99 a month, and I will personally help you decide the foods based on your current structured program, your routine and your training, what you currently like, what you don't like. I will personally help you put together a diet program that personally worked for me and that I know will work for you, and that will ultimately allow you to perform at your best. And if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me by just sending me a message on LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn is just on my profile as well if you want further information. And again, this is one of the reasons why I built the Fortis Circle, which is the online community that I run. An average diet with little to no training is just going to lead to average output, and you're just going to fall behind from the high achievers within the profession. So if you are serious about going ahead and elevating your performance, go ahead, join the Fortis Circle community, send me a message on LinkedIn if you do have any further questions, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.